You have to use your vacation days. First time poster in this sub, but long time lurker. So if I've done something wrong, please let me know. English not my first language, etc., etc. In fact, for context, this takes place in the Netherlands, which has a very different working culture and legislation than the US. Recently I got a message from HR that I still had a lot of holiday hours open, many of which would lapse as of July 1st. As a matter of law, I was aware of this, but in the past I was always able to sell them for money. In the COVID years I've hardly been away for mostly obvious reasons, and I'm getting 32 days per annum. In other words, my vacation days had piled up and my current balance was a grand total of 390 hours. And that's excluding the new 32 days from 2023. So, that's almost 10 weeks of holidays. Of these, I had to finish roughly 200 hours, or 5 weeks before July 1st. Possible of course, but hardly ideal, not for my employer, our customer, or for myself, which is why I thought it wouldn't be a problem to sell these hours for extra salary, as I had done before. But I was quite wrong. HR told me to contact my manager, who denied my request. I explained to him exactly how many days I had still open. He'd asked the CEO, but the CEO sent me a message about how they care about work-life balance and mental health, etc. For the record, I fully agree with this stance in principle. And frankly, I think the measly amount of holidays people in the US get is shameful. And the culture in which it's sort of not done to actually take your holidays, I find outright toxic. I'm glad I'm working in a country and for an employer where this situation is much better. But on the other hand, one has to be practical. COVID was inflicted upon us all, and you can't compensate for a lack of holidays taken in the past with taking copious amounts of holidays now or in the near future. I love to travel and to socialize, but we couldn't go anywhere or do much, and I didn't see the point in taking holidays just to sit home more. In fact, my work provided me with some much-needed structure during the lockdown times. And working from home meant that work was actually much more stress-free than it was in the office. So anyway, I brought up my situation and my reasoning, but it was still denied. I was just told it's good to take off some days, and to go on holiday, and so on. Again, I'm not opposed to this at all, but the scale of the problem seemed to have just escaped the manager and the CEO. I had and have already planned on traveling for 2 weeks to Sicily and Greece. If anyone's interested, maybe also mainland Italy again. But after that I'd still have 3 weeks which I'd need to finish. I also have a long weekend planned to Iceland, but that only takes several paid holidays because of the weekend in the middle. It is then that I decided to start complying maliciously. Instead of trying to argue the point again with my CEO, I planned a meeting with my line manager and the account manager of the customer I am working for. I told them I needed to take every Friday off basically until July or my days would lapse. I didn't ask for permission because whilst paying out holidays is voluntarily, they need a very good excuse to deny leave requests, such as denying requests for key figures last minute when you're in the middle of a big project with deadlines, etc. But my request wasn't one of those. And obviously they're not allowed to deny a payout and my leave request anyway. It'd be super hypocritical too. So as a good and diligent employee, I wanted to make sure that our customer was aware of my sustained de facto reduction in capacity, and wanted to discuss how we could best bring up this potentially touchy subject with them. After all, this structural reduction of capacity is different from a normal 2-week vacation or just some days off here and there, which is a pretty normal situation here, even for contractors. Since they're a key account and I'm working for them as a senior DevOps cloud engineer, I had anticipated to have a slightly awkward meeting with my manager and the account manager, discussing the details, after which I already half expected they'd U-turn at some point and decide to pay out my vacation days after all. But they exceeded expectations because when I entered the meeting, not a word was spoken about my 2 denied requests for converting my holidays, or about the framing I had given this meeting about how and who wanted the honor of telling the big customer they'd be losing 20% of my capacity, and my employer would get to charge 20% less. Instead, the account manager just asked for how many days I still had open, which we were easily able to see in the system. He then proposed to just pay out all my open holidays from 2022 and before, so 10 weeks instead of the requested 5, so the backlog would be cleared and this situation wouldn't occur again. Happy days. I have already received 5 months extra in salary and I still have all my 32 days from this year. So I have more than enough days for my holidays and for general R&R. So my work-life balance is really not in danger. When I returned to work after 14 months off sick, one of the first things my manager said to me was that I had a full year's holiday entitlement to take. So I worked for a couple of months, and then basically had another month off. In Poland it's actually illegal to pay for unused leave, and it doesn't lapse, you use it. Period. If you don't use your leave by September, your employer must send you on one as soon as practical. As a matter of fact, I have 15 years days from last year still left, scheduled that around some public holidays and with 2 more days from this year. I'll have 4 weeks off April, May. Although, to be honest, taking Fridays off for a long period of time is also highly tempting. When the manager suggested to cash your days, like you have been telling them all along, just act like it's their idea and congratulate them on their astute business sense. Managers like that. We get 4 personal days a year if we have sick days. Even if it's built up to months of leave, when we retire, we'd get $10 for each day. Wow, I think it's changed to less now. I guess I should be sick twice a week until I retire to use it all up. Good ol' America. The Netherlands, which has a very different working culture and legislation than the US. Obviously they're not allowed to deny a payout and my leave request anyway. It'd be super hypocritical too, and right here is the proof of the very different work culture. I'm at the 9 weeks mark. I could cash it, but I really do just need time off. Thinking of doing a short road trip for 2 weeks or going for a short overseas trip. But I'd rather have it banked and ready in case anything happens. From a fellow Dutchie. Well played. As long as you still have plenty to enjoy vacations. I think everyone here has been hoarding vacation days during COVID because there was nothing to do besides work. I can barely afford to take a 1-week vacation with my kids for spring break, and I'm lucky I'm in the financial position to do it. But 5 weeks of holiday would be a ton of sitting around the house playing video games all day. Well done. Even in Canada I envy your benefits. I woulda taken the time off. By the time my dad retired after 20 years at his city's public works department, he had 20 weeks of vacation and 150 days of PT. They used to let you sell them back when you retire, but put a cap on them 6 months before he did. So instead he gave a week notice that he was using 6 months worth of days off and retired early. I would have rather had the Fridays off. Smiley face. First world problems I'd love to have. I'm glad you are happy. with your work situation and I enjoyed reading about it. But I don't see any malicious compliance here at all. I'm so jealous. Jealous. US here I lost time by switching jobs. I used to have 30-ish days plus accruing sick time, which I had 200 plus hours of, and we would use them for mental health days mostly. I was salary, so I didn't need to use sick time for appointments or a few hours here or there. Luckily, whether it was me or the frontline staff who only make $15 per hour, everyone had the base 30 days. Even a birthday day. Now I have 30 days with no accruing sick time. Merp. So I eat into my 30 days if I have to take sick leave for a day. They had to really sell me Donna. Few other things be. See, the benefits are not top-notch. TLDR, in the end common sense prevailed. I've worked in corporate America for my whole career, and use it or lose it has been in effect at every company. As a middle manager, I have a spreadsheet of vacation time. When someone is in danger of losing vacation time, they will get a special assignment. It reads like this: between today and 6 months from today, you have X days to do anything you want, except come to work. Funny thing is, for every employee that is going to lose time, I have another that has no time. When they accrue a sick day, like clockwork, they're sick within 3 days. I don't care. It's their time to use as they see fit. Boy, are we different people. God, I wish we had something like this in the USA. It's basically grind until you die or get on with a company that actually cares. Are you serious?
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epicaricast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.